Hi, and welcome to Gay Out the City. I'm your host, Prince Electro Diamond, and today I am here with former star of For the Love of Dilfs on Out TV, Phoenix Lee. How you doing today, sexy?
I'm doing good. I love how you said former. It's shady. But I'm doing good. I'm really good.
Yeah.
It is Valentine's Day for anyone who doesn't know when this is airing. And I like Valentine's Day. But this Valentine's Day is better than last. You can ask for that later.
Yeah. So, as I read, you grew up in Seattle. So, what was it like growing up in Seattle?
Well, I grew up in like I guess you could say like the bougie area of Seattle and so on. So which also meant like it was more Caucasian, if that makes sense. And I
Yeah.
am half white, half black. My mom grew up in the Caribbean, so like I always definitely felt different just growing up, just based off like the way I looked. Like in class, like we talk about slavery, and like everyone just looked at me. So it was
Yeah.
like definitely like from like the get go, before I even knew I was like gay, I always like felt very different. I will say like Seattle is an amazing city because I literally would like run away as like high schoolers from like the suburbs, like Seattle, to like sneak into
Awesome.
gay clubs. And like I love Seattle. I mean, I adore coffee. People don't understand that. Like I love coffee. I love music. The music scene there is amazing. That's like where I
Wow.
really found myself in a lot of ways. But also like I moved away for a reason.
Yeah.
you know, it became small.
Okay. Awesome. So, were your parents surprised when you came out, or was it like they had clues?
I don't really know anymore because it was just like such. I don't really. So I came out at 14, right? So I came out like young, and like when I
Yeah.
came out, like I was like ready to fight. Like they found condoms in my room, and they were starting to ask questions, and I was like so. I remember being just like so pissed off about it. I was still a virgin. I was just like a stupid boy who was buying condoms that I thought was funny with my friends.
Yeah.
And I remember making the comment, I was like, well, it wouldn't be a girl, like super sassy. And they like seemed shocked. But like my dad had totally seen me like talk online to dudes when I was and like the fact that I'd watch gay porn because I'd be like fix my laptop. My dad
Yeah.
like worked back. So like he they knew how to look at my history before I realized how to delete it.
Yeah. That
Um
was.
they definitely like had a clue for sure, but it was definitely like their reaction was not like necessarily like the best. And like looking back on it, I've healed a lot because like I realized they were just trying to protect me and like do their best, but like
Yeah.
no matter what they said, I was gonna be angry. And like the way they put it, like my dad was super concerned about like the lifestyle and like how I was gonna end up and like how sexualized it is. And my mom was just like she grew up in the British colony and she's like, I love you. That's great. Just like uncross your legs and don't tell anyone. Like she wanted me, you know, like it was like very that. Like she literally
Yeah.
said that. She wanted it to be very me to be very Anderson Cooper, if that
Wow.
makes sense.
That's
Like
amazing. Yeah.
she was like that type of gay. Like I mean, and like that's why I felt like off the bat was like it was like, oh, it's okay to be gay, just like that type of gay.
Very sort
But
of like downplayed and like
mhm.
very.
And
Yeah.
like the thing is, like, so of course I was angry about that for years. But like eventually, like you grow up, you get more mature, and you realize like, well, they didn't throw me out, they didn't hate me, they were just didn't know how to communicate with me, and,
Yeah.
you know. And like my older brother is gay as well, actually, but like
Wow.
he didn't come out till much later in life. He didn't come out till like, he was like what 23, 24. So and like they were so much nicer to him than me.
Yeah.
He like said it at Christmas dinner, and they like toast about it, and they're like, "Yay!" Like they were so happy that he was gay. I remember being so angry internally,
Well, I
just
mean,
but but like that was another example where I was like, okay, like they don't, my parents aren't homophobic or anything like that. Like they just didn't know how to deal with me at the time.
well, I will say that that is probably speaking of my coming out. Like originally when I came out, I came out as bi, and
Hmm.
when I did, I had come out about 4 months after my mom died, so it was easier for me to like only have to tell one parent.
Mm.
And it's because I don't know if I would have had the courage to come out had she been alive. Because I actually, the first person I came out to was my best friend who's actually gay as well. So, like,
Yeah.
that was, and I grew up in a religious household. So, like, my dad was super religious. My mom, when she got sick, she became more religious. But, like, my mom was the one who introduced me to Madonna. So, like, it's like maybe subliminally she knew,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I told my sister, and my sister said like when I finally talked to her, she's like, "I knew." I'm thinking, I'm like, you couldn't have given me a fucking hint. Like
That
that would have helped a lot.
makes sense.
Yeah. So, how much of a culture shock was it moving from Seattle to West Hollywood?
Well, I moved to Canada actually before I moved to West Hollywood. I probably just didn't have enough lines. They only let you have so many lines in those bios, right? But
Yeah.
yeah. So when I was 18, like 2 months after high school, I moved to Vancouver, BC, Canada for acting school, and I was up there for like 3 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And like that was a culture shock. Oh my god, that keeps falling out. Oh, it was in my ass. So um, where else did things go?
Yeah.
No, so like that was a culture shock just because it was Canada, and like I really didn't think Canada was that much different because I'd visited, but living somewhere is so different. I've never felt
What?
more American than living in Canada. I felt so American. It was so weird. People all the time would be like, "You're American." I'm like, "How do you know?" They're like, "You have opinions about things you don't know anything about. You jaywalk non like all the time. Like you're loud." I was like, "No, I'm not." I just it was like yeah. Everyone makes
Yeah.
hockey references, and I did not understand any of them. Like in school, like in acting school, they're making hockey references the same way that we make football references. But I
Yeah.
was like so much more confused because I was like, I don't understand hockey. Can someone like break this down for me? And but it was a really cool experience. It was also the first time I'd ever heard people introduce themselves with pronouns. This is back like I moved there originally when I was 2013. It was the first time at Canadian Thanksgiving. Everyone went around. I don't know how that works because like everyone was quiet in a big group of gays, and like one by one, people went around introducing themselves. It's fucking Canada, right? And they introduced their name and their pronouns. It was the first time I'd ever heard that. And I remember thinking that was interesting. And also, it was the first time I met like someone who is trans that became friends with and watch this girl go through the entire process of becoming a male. And I watched like it was like a bi girl and a like at the time lesbian, right? In like a
Yeah.
female relationship, and the lesbian, I don't let me do this because she transitioned. The
Yeah.
lesbian became a man, right? And
Yeah.
watching that whole process and them stay together because the girl she was with was like bi, and like watching like I remember just being like, wow, that's real love.
Yeah.
Like that's like insane.
I
But
will
yeah.
I will say that as someone who has been in a relationship with someone who I didn't know was transitioning, they were like living in my apartment and like lying to me
Mm-hmm.
about it. And eventually it was someone I had been with a year. We moved in to he moved at the time he moved into my place 7 months in. And then like one day didn't even tell me they were leaving. Just I went to work one day, they moved their stuff out. I got a note with a key in the door.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's really rough. That's interesting though. Because I think it's interesting on the show though. They never ask any of us I like who our last relationships were with. I always thought like it was weird that they never. they never asked us that. But because my last relationship ended after I like a pandemic relationship. Like I like as soon as the pandemic happened, I like wanted someone and like got in a relationship really really fast, and then like we moved in together like really fast after that.
Yeah,
But
that
and then
is never good.
no, and we're still friends, but like we broke up like a little after like COVID ended or the
Yeah,
pandemic ended.
yeah,
After like my birthday, the following March, and we broke up because
yeah,
not because of this, but we broke up after they told me that they wanted to transition,
yeah,
and then that's not why we broke up. We broke up because I we had the moment where we realized romantically we both had to take a step back from each other because like they were going through things where like it was better for me to be a support and not and versus like be romantically involved because I realized if I stayed in that relationship I wouldn't take care of myself and then 3 months I would like hate this person. I didn't want to do that. So like it was probably one of my best breakups if that makes sense. Like we
yeah.
did what was best for like her in that situation and like she literally just got her boobs like a week ago, and I can't wait to see her. You know,
Wow.
but
See,
it like I've been there for the everything else that like really matters. She's dating someone else right now, but it's like that was a really cool experience to have. And, like I am like very 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 gay, and like I am definitely a gold star gay, and like it like
yeah,
the way I looked at it, like she was worried like that would give me a big deal, and what I told her was like I don't care because you're not gonna become like a girl tomorrow. I'm like, I don't know. Like maybe like I love you now. That doesn't mean that that's gonna go away. Like the rest of the stuff, like sex or whatever else, like whatever issues that might be. Like who am I to say that like that won't work out? You know, that's kind of the way I look
yeah,
at it because it's like it's different. Like I don't seek that out because I'm not into that. But like
yeah,
if I'm already in love with someone who I'm like living with, who like, you know like this is like a very different
yeah,
situation because there's like other components to it. But yeah, but then we decided to split just because they were going through a lot and they needed to focus on that.
we'll
And
see.
they're happy.
I will say this in that situation, you were definitely a lot more supportive than I was.
Hmm.
And I think it's just because, as I said, you went away to acting school and like got the chance to be exposed to all this.
Yeah,
I didn't go to college. So like I lived when I was in Orlando, I went
yeah,
for a few months for technical school and then like I was out on my own. So like I never had like that college experience cuz I went to college. I actually did go to college around here. I went for about a year and a half and I'm like this shit is not for me. Like
it's not for everyone.
well, it's also I was in the wrong major. If I were to go back now, I would honestly I was in like music business and I honestly would go for broadcast journalism. Now
Okay.
just because like I like doing this. I like getting to talk to people. I like getting to be behind and it's honestly like I could see myself doing like Sirius XM radio if anyone like gave me a
Yeah.
shot at that. But like I couldn't do like local radio. I swear too much. So
Makes sense.
yeah. Um are you an extremely sexual person?
Uh, I'd say yes. The best way to say that is like I'm an extremely sexual person, but just like anyone, as a male too, like we forget like we ebb and flow, like we do have like hormones. So there's
Yeah.
times when I'm not. Like you mean like honestly, as of like the since the beginning of the year, funny enough, I've only had sex with one person. Like I have not been a very sexual person this year. But
Yeah.
like every time I'm like, oh, like I'm not sexual, will it ever come back? Like it always comes back with a vengeance.
Of course.
I forget like December and November
Yeah.
because those were fun. There was a lot going on. But like, yeah.
See, I'm someone who like I have a friends with benefits, so like
Hmm.
if I didn't have that, especially living at home with my dad, I probably wouldn't be as sexual as I am, or I'd be doing shit that's illegal. Like,
No, that makes perfect sense.
yeah,
Uh, yeah. Oh, shout out to West Hollywood. Um, I need a friends with benefits. So hit me up someone
yeah.
because I don't want to get STD, STI. Yeah.
And I mean, as long as you know what you like,
Hmm.
you'll find somebody. Like, actually,
It's
as I've
hard, I feel like, to find like in the gay community, it's in the queer community. It's hard to find, I feel like, repeat offenders. Like I feel like so many people are about like hooking up once and like never seeing the person again.
see, I was like that because I will say this. Okay, just to give you a little bit more of a background on me, when I moved to Orlando, like I came out when I was 18. I didn't start having sex till I was 22.
Okay.
So like, and then that was me sort of only topping at that point because like at that point I will say this, I'm someone who's like survived sexual assault twice. I'd already been assaulted once at that point, and I remembered the pain of like trying to bottom because this person was like trying to go in me with no lube, and like I just like I'm already tight as it is. I just tightened up even more because like,
Yeah, of course. It's a natural physical reaction.
and then like, and then once I got with my boyfriend, that was the first time. Well, I will say this: I've mostly dated black guys. I had one relationship with a white guy who that was after I broke up with the trans ex. We were
Hmm.
together about a month. Worst mistake I ever made because I went with someone who was like a little bit rednecky who like thought I was hot. And I feel like I have like self-esteem issues. So like I'm like, well, I might as well just like date this person because they think I'm good. I might not have anybody anymore.
Hmm.
And then I remember the day we broke up, I was sick. I went in the hospital like 2 days later and found out that I have like laryngitis, which is something where like my it felt like my lungs were swollen and like I was like white as a ghost. There was a day I was at work and like I was already feeling sick. I was supposed to do like a hotline serving job and they made me like actually serve tables that day and I spent like about 45 minutes in I had to go into the bathroom because I was throwing up. Like I felt like I was going to throw up and I was in there for like an hour cuz I just I was not, and everyone around me except for my managers who like didn't seem to give a shit. But it's like all the people I worked with fucking knew I was sick, and like they didn't send me home like they should have. But
The server is an issue for you.
yeah, okay. Next question. So, as you said, you went to acting school. You're an actor. What's one misconception most people have about actors?
Probably they were all egotistical. People have this idea because of like the media and seeing like big names that like every actor probably has like a really big ego,
Yeah,
and really full of themselves. I think that would be the biggest misconception because most actors that I know are like insecure in a lot of ways because it's
yeah,
definitely an industry to like put yourself out there in a way that it's like easy to like um get hurt. Like I would consider myself someone who like definitely has an ego for sure. I definitely have an ego. Like you can see that on the show. I definitely have an ego, but
yeah,
I don't think I'm egotistical because like literally like I the last thing I auditioned for. this is like I remember I was so like this is in December that I found out that like I didn't get this role, but
Yeah.
I auditioned. I got called to audition for a part that the writer had written based off me because they knew me,
Yeah.
um, and the director knew me, and they like I didn't have to do the first round of auditions, like second round of auditions. I just got straight to like the final call. They just called me. They're like, "You're one of the few people we're going to really consider for this." And I was literally like, "Oh my god, this is I'm gonna get the role." Like it's literally written based off me, and I'm
Yeah.
auditioning it from people I know, and I didn't get it. And I remember like finding that out because I found out about the audition on Thanksgiving, and then
Yeah.
before Christmas, I found out I didn't get it, and I remember just being devastated because I was just like, I like legitimately was devastated. Like my I was with my parents and they were like concerned
Yeah.
about me. I was just like, oh my god, like what does that say about my career? The fact that I can't even land a role as me. So like I
Yeah.
think people like don't realize like how sensitive actors really are because they
Definitely.
just see the fact that like, oh, like they're on a show or they're doing this or like, they're posting that. So I think that would
Totally.
be probably the biggest misperception, and like a lot of actors are introverts too. I mean, I'm not, but a lot are. People think that
Yeah.
none of
I
them are.
mean, well, I get that. Like,
Yeah,
if I wasn't a performer, I'd be introverted too. Like, I'm not someone who like goes up and talks to people, especially like when I'm in gay bars. I will say, thank God I do drag, and like a lot of times I don't have to go up to people and talk to people. People come up and talk to me because like I am in some ways I'm intimidated by people. Like shit. If I was just like normally like all of this was off, and I just walked into a gay bar and I saw you, I'm not fucking going to talk to you because just based on the fact that you're a skinny gay person, probably a lot of people's mind, maybe even mine at one point, is like, oh, that person's probably bitchy. They're not gonna want to talk to me.
I also have a bitchy phase, and I didn't know that. Like I've known them my whole life, so I'm very used. Like even my day job, like literally people, like what, like yesterday, like because I like scout talent and like for like both in acting school and like as well as like for agents and like yesterday, like I forgot was it someone literally told me that they were just like because their daughter was auditioning and then mom told me that she was intimidated by me and worried for
Yeah,
her daughter to audition with me. And then like later when she was talking to me, she's like, "You were so chill." She's like, I
yeah,
did not expect that at all. But like that's true. Like we definitely like judge people on like people's appearance and like especially in like queer culture and gay world,
yeah.
Like yeah, I get that.
Because like, and a lot of people would say it's crazy because like, so how tall are you?
5'10".
Yeah, like I'm 6'3". I'm taller than you. It's crazy that like to think that I would be intimidated by you, but it's like,
And if you were in heels,
oh yeah, like depending on what shoes I wear, that's why when people say like I have shoes, I haven't worn them recently, but it's like I have shoes that make me 7 feet tall, or I have shoes
yeah,
that make me like 6'7". It just depends on
yeah.
what I'm in, and I will, and I know any drag queen who watches this say this. I wear flats occasionally. I wear shoes with I'll wear like platform sneakers, but they're fucking platforms. They make me taller. That's all the shit that needs to do.
No, no worries. Well, a Phoenix flat is a sneaker wedge. I wear that all the time. Not in drag, but just as a person. I
Yeah.
like shoes. I like actually am like very much a shoe girl. Like I wear heels like as a boy in drag. Like literally. Okay, what's look the closest heel to me. I just went like that far.
Wow.
These I wore actually on Friday. I think I like shoes.
See, yeah. See, I have stilettos. I'm at the point where like I have to reteach myself how to wear stilettos because after the things with my foot,
That makes sense.
yeah. So like right now, well, I mean, you'll see it in the picture once I post on Facebook promoting this. I'm in like they're kind of like boots.
Okay.
I like them. They're something where I haven't worn them in a bodysuit yet, but I figured I'm like this works with like the t-shirt dress, which is what I'm wearing now, and like
Cute.
yeah.
We love
So
it.
as I mentioned before, you're in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
How is nightlife in West Hollywood?
Oh my God, it's amazing. I don't think people understand. Like, I love nightlife in general, and I love nightlife in West Hollywood. I used to live in Orange County for a long time. Like, I lived there
Yeah.
for like 5, 6 years, maybe like five. Yeah, before I moved to West Hollywood, because I only moved like this past year. But I used to like come to West Hollywood, and like that's an hour commute. And like my favorite night was last night. Like I go out on like a Monday night because like there's less tourists, like more just locals, and like there's like
Yeah.
fun people, you know? Like, I mean, where else would I be able to just like talk to Akira not Akira. Oh fuck, I forgot her name. But but like Banji was out last night and like a bunch of other girls, like just like not even in
Yeah.
drag, just like chilling at the bar and like I got to like watch some really good drag and like dance to some really good music and like chill with people and like that's not everywhere on a Monday night. You know? That's not like normal most places.
I know it. Like when I performed in Orlando, I actually performed at probably the most famous gay bar in Orlando. In fact, it's so famous that like people internationally know it.
What's the
Is
name?
this Parliament House?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah. And it was great. That's why I used to like going out because it was like 10 minutes from my apartment. No, not even like 5 minutes from my apartment.
Mhm.
And it's a struggle when you have to like go because as I was talking to you before, I'm like an hour away from West Palm Beach, and West Palm Beach,
Mhm.
even then, they don't have a lot of places. And the place that I used to perform in West Palm Beach burned down during the pandemic. Like there was some sort of like electrical fire when nobody was in there, so like they haven't been able to reconstruct it since. So like
Wow.
eventually I just transitioned to performing at home because I was one of the people like I performed every week till like they finally shut everything down, which I'm in Florida. It took them a while to shut stuff down.
Yeah. No worries.
But
I was
like,
living in Huntington Beach. I don't think they ever did.
well, I mean, in some places, like, I mean, granted, I always look at people who say during the pandemic they were stuck quarantining and being at home, and it's like, bitch, must have been fucking nice. I had to go to work every day. Like,
I get that.
yeah. So, what made you want to go on reality TV?
Ooh, good question. Um, my friend literally sent me the information to audition, and I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, oh, okay, maybe. And I was bored in my apartment, and I had just got my hair done, and I was like, I need like I literally was like, I want to do something. I was like,
Yeah,
maybe I'll just like I literally was just like, okay, I'll send in a tape. I took 3 takes and then just set in the one I liked the best, and then I
yeah,
forgot about it. I really didn't like have ambitions to be on reality TV. I mean, I would love to be on Big Brother for sure, but I just I don't know. I honestly like just kind of forgot about it, and then I got the call a few months later. I was like, what is this about?
yeah,
And I was excited. I was excited once I like. I think that's partially just being an actor. Like I just audition for stuff all the time, and like I really don't care until I hear that I got it.
Yeah, because I will say this: what I know about actors, like I don't know any actors personally, but what I know about actors is you audition for a lot of stuff,
Yeah,
and there's a lot of stuff you don't get.
yeah, most stuff.
Yeah. So what would okay? I will say this. I'm going to explain what this term is before I ask the question. So this question's about being on ice while filming. For those people who
Hmm.
don't know, being on ice is when the cameras aren't rolling, you can't talk. So, what was that like being on ice filming For the Love of Dilfs?
It was interesting because like we honestly weren't on ice that much. Like we could interact with each other a lot, like not on camera, which definitely I think
Wow.
that affected like stuff that happened on camera. And like literally legally, I'm not supposed to talk about anything that happened off camera. But like we
Yeah.
were hardly on ice. We were only ever on ice when like situations were like happening. Like obviously, if they were filming, we couldn't talk, obviously. But like it was like only on ice if like they were not upset with us, but if they really needed to focus, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it felt like we were like being um distracting in any sort of ways. But like we were able to interact most of the time. I will say, okay, the only time we were really on ice was the first day, because like I'm, I'm always like, yeah. Sorry, I'm always thinking trying to think about my NDA, what I'm actually allowed
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
say. But
Yeah.
the
Sorry.
first day,
And like,
I'm
I
pretty
didn't have
sure
a
the
chance
first
to mention to you that before, but it's like, if at any point I ask you anything that's in your NDA or like you can't say,
yeah,
just tell me you can't say it.
for sure. I'm pretty sure I can say this though. Like the first day, we were all on ice because like um yeah, I'm pretty sure I can say that. I'm just like, okay, so the first day, like, because the scene where we all meet the daddies for the first time,
Yeah.
we had already seen the daddies in the house because we were already living together. We were just not allowed
Yeah.
to talk to them. Like I remember, like that was the only time we were like on hard ice. Like we were not like the first day we really were not allowed to talk. Like when we were in common areas, we could not talk to anyone, and we could like it was so awkward because I remember like I would we'd be going up the same like spiral staircase, and we'd both be like I felt like I couldn't even
Yeah.
like look at them, you know. But
Yeah.
then, but once we like had met them on camera, off camera, we were allowed to talk to them. Like they were allowed to come into our room, we could go into their room, we could talk off camera, which was kind of nice to actually be able to like because on camera you only have so much time together. So it was nice to have
Yeah.
time off camera because it made like the actual like chemistry and like relationships seem more genuine because they actually were, you know.
Yeah. That seems crazy because like I'm thinking about people talking about on Drag Race. That's where I first heard about
Yeah,
like the behind the
yeah,
scenes. Like they're definitely on hard ice from a lot of what I've heard a lot of time.
yeah, and like that's definitely. I mean, they didn't start like that. It's definitely one of the things like has progressed over the course
Yeah.
of like people on the show. You know what I mean? Like even um like the number of drinks you can have, this and that and so
Yeah.
on. But
Okay. Here's my next question. And I know this may seem like a dumb question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Did you actually believe you would fall in love going on the show?
okay, I was open to the idea. That's the best way I put it. I did not necessarily audition to fall in love.
Yeah.
Um, I auditioned for exposure. I can be honest about that.
Yeah.
But I'm also a hopeless romantic, and people like don't realize that. So like a little bit of me was like, you never know.
Girl,
I
are
was
you
really,
serious?
yeah, because I was like open in the sense of like I'm like honestly, you never know. Like I go into every opportunity like maybe this guy could be the guy. But did I
Yeah.
go for that reason? Did I, like you mean did I actually believe it was gonna happen? No.
Yeah. Okay.
But does it
Because
make sense?
yeah.
I wasn't like closed off, is what I was saying. Like I didn't go
Yeah.
into like every scene and every date just like closed off, like or even like trying to like act a fool and like pretend that I was going to be like be in love with someone. I did be what I was just open to like you never know, like maybe I
Yeah.
will strike up emotions.
Because I will say this, like, granted, I'm watching the show. I haven't watched this week because I was out working. I'll probably watch it. Like,
Well, it doesn't. There's no episode today.
there isn't.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's no
okay.
episode on Valentine's Day.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Oh, here's my next question. Okay, were you shocked on the first day of filming when you saw Tokyo there?
Yes, that was genuine. I like that. I because you honestly don't know who's gonna be there,
Yeah,
right? And I did not expect. I mean, also like our beds were next to each other, but
yeah,
like, I honestly had no idea he was gonna be there. That was like a genuine shock. Like, that was not acting. That was completely real.
yeah. So crap. Hold on. Okay, and I will say this: I can't even remember where I wrote it down. I might have to skip that question when I go back to it. So, or maybe I got rid of it. I don't know, but I'll ask it anyway. So, what exactly happened between you two?
Okay. Okay. How do I put this? So I've known Tokyo for a long time. We were never like besties, but we were definitely like friends to a degree. We saw each other often at different sort of events. He got introduced by one of my other friends to my best friend, and like they hit it off. They dated for a while. Um, their relationship wasn't perfect like anyone else's. I was invested because
Yeah,
I'm the best friend, you know? Of course I'm
yeah,
gonna be invested in my best friend's like relationship. And
totally.
also I'm gonna be hurt every time he's hurt, you know? Like that
Yeah,
should come with the gig of being a good friend. And when they broke up a few different times. And like when they finally broke up, I just on my side what it was I felt really like hurt because I felt like at different moments throughout the relationships, I really vouched for Tokyo to my best friend as like being a good guy. So then
yeah,
seeing my best friend being hurt by him, I just felt like I was just kind of like, what the fuck? Like I vouched for you, and like, like this is the shit I get, and
yeah,
like we we just like didn't talk after that, and like a lot of that's because like I don't really, I'm honestly not that dramatic of a person, so I just kind of removed myself from the situation where I'm like, I'm gonna take my best friend's side in this, you know, like I'm
of
not going,
course.
you know, like
Yeah,
I'm just not gonna talk to their ex-boyfriend, you know, and
yeah,
so we just kind of left it like that, and like there was more issues between the two of them. They're really between me and Tokyo, but
yeah,
when the show happened, I think it was about 3 months after the breakup, right?
yeah,
So I actually like, and it's not even like I had never said anything before that was like mean or kind of bitchy or catty, but I just hadn't talked to him about the way I felt or like the situation. So going into it, like that honestly was like the first time we had talked about it,
yeah,
which is probably why it ended up being as messy as it was because we had just had never had like a conversation like
yeah,
ever.
yeah, and that's got to be like extremely awkward to finally like get to see this person, and the first time you're seeing them in a while is on camera.
Yeah,
Like,
and like the producers are good at producing. You mean like
yeah,
they know. Um, but yeah, it was just like it was like really interesting for me to like watch it back like at the premiere. I was honestly like really nervous and like anyone who's there knew that because I just didn't know what it would look like. You know, like I just didn't know how they
yeah,
would edit it or anything.
no,
And
of
like
course not.
people like don't realize like well it looked on camera like a 5 minute conversation, but that conversation was like probably 30 minutes or something. It was like
Yeah,
a very and it felt so long too. So like shooting it like it was very, very anxiety producing. Like, cause cause everyone else is like 5 minutes on camera of like, oh, like good drama, right? For me, it was like a whole day of like
yeah,
anxiety. Cause after the shot's done, like it wasn't done. Like I wasn't like, we weren't like good terms. Like I'm a sensitive person. I'm in this whole environment. I have to do these other scenes. Like I just remember like um personally just feeling just like really off for the rest of the day, and just I was just sensitive, and like, it all happened on
Yeah.
camera. I remember just being like, what the fuck? This is
Yeah.
so crazy. And like that was the moment too where I was like, oh my god, I'm on reality TV. Like that was when
Yeah.
it hit me.
Like what you're talking about is probably why I'm saying this now. The minute if I ever get on Drag's Race, like season 45, probably when I'm fucking ready. Like, I'm gonna say now, I now wouldn't do reality TV. I would do
Yeah,
like a docu series. If somebody like approached me and they're like, "We want to do a docu series about you," because then I feel like I'd have more like creative control.
yeah, yeah, exactly. You don't have any control,
Yeah.
and like
So
that's what
like,
makes it scary for me. Like watching the first episode, I was just like, I have no clue what it's gonna look like or how I'm gonna be portrayed. And like, yeah, after like filming for the Love of Dolphs, I was like, oh my god, I'm never doing Drag Race. Like, I was like, imagine all that drama and being tugged the whole time.
yeah,
I was like, oh my god, I could not.
you say that now. Like,
I said that in general. I was like, I'll never do reality TV again,
yeah,
right? While I was like filming, because like I felt so stressed a lot. But then, like literally, Prince Joshua, who's like on the
yeah,
show but has not come in yet, who's a really good
yeah,
friend of mine. I remember him asking me like after the show wrapped, like we got back to LA. He's like, "Would you ever do like another show?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like, I was like,
yeah,
I don't know, I would, because now I feel like I'd be more prepared.
yeah,
Know what you're walking into.
yeah. And as I said, this is great because you're the first person I'm getting to talk to about this. Because I'll give you just a little bit of backstage to you. You can actually check this out, or anyone who's watching can check this out on my podcast. I was supposed to have an interview with Mateo. I got to day of. I was in drag, all ready to go. I sent him the link, much like I did you. It was we were supposed to start at 9:30, 9 o'clock. I'm not seeing him, seeing him. And then 9:30 comes around. He never showed up. So I was like, well, fuck it. I'm already in drag. I might as well just like do the episode and like rant about how much this sucks. And I will say this, I've reached out to him since and he felt bad. He told me he was sick, but like I kind of went in on him a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Hmm. No, that makes sense. And like what I'd say for in this case, like I work in entertainment, right? So like
Yeah,
I understand like how this works. Like even let you know like that I was gonna be like 5 minutes late because like
yeah,
it's funny because like the CBS line was like long and I was trying to get a Red Bull so I could be peppy.
yeah,
Oh, I have a good Red Bull story about the show too. But yeah, so I just want to say like I love Mateo. Mateo, funny
yeah,
enough, was like one of the first people I connected it with on the show. Um, I remember we had like a lot of late night conversations and we texted a lot, but
yeah,
um, he's a sweetheart. He really is.
yeah. And I don't
But
feel anything against him. It's just
yeah,
now I'm at the point where so far, fingers crossed, I have the rest of this month filled up,
yeah,
saying everything goes well, because you never know. I've
that's still
hit
business.
I've hit up people. The thing that like pissed me off is like, as you know, this is show business, but again, I'm nobody. Like, I have people like I hit up and they're asking me for money, and it's like I don't have it. I don't have it. It's not like I'm behind a podcast network. Like
Yeah,
I do all the fucking research myself. Like I'm the one reaching out to people. Like I'm doing it. The craziest amount that I had somebody like I reached out and they're like, it'll cost you $1,000. I'm like, I'm not interested. Because it's like for me especially, like even I'll ask you if you want anything more. it's much like how I saw probably one of my like influences in terms of like doing podcast and radio, which is Howard Stern. Howard Stern doesn't fucking pay people to be on his show. He's like, I'll pay you in plugs. I'll let people plug whatever they want. It's like, let me know and I'll do it.
Yeah.
And it's
And
like,
the thing too is like, obviously it's good to know your worth. And it's good to know. I think it's important to like get paid for what you do. So I understand that, but it is one of those things where like I look at like it's almost like not like tears, but like you have to know what you're doing. And like I think one of the best thing I ever heard was from my favorite drag queen, Willem, was that she only gets into drag for like I think 4 reasons, right? And this
yeah,
is probably look at entertainment too. Like get into drag for charity, get into drag for money, get
yeah,
into drag for exposure or for dick.
yeah,
And that's kind of how I look at like my career. It's like like I'm not here for money. I have other gigs that will pay me that like
yeah,
I'm there for money. You know, I've worked with like a lot of charities and like people don't talk about that, but like I worked with
yeah,
a lot of charities over the year and like you know, and like that's so like I mean, honestly, most of my charity work people have paid me for. And one time I tried to go to my taxes and write it off, and my friend was like, "You can't write off being paid for doing charity work."
yeah,
Learn that. But like, you know, it's like but I do like free stuff too because like you do it for charity, you do it for the community. Like that's
yeah,
important, you know? Yeah, I've done a lot of like stuff for or voting and so on, like a lot of that's been for free. And then
yeah,
like yeah, and then exposure, like this in my opinion is like this is for exposure and so on. And
exactly.
like that's what I'm getting out of this. And like that's worth me showing up. And then like I mean I look cute today and it's like Valentine's Day, so hopefully I get some dick.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And like, I will do this because, like, as I said, I just started interviewing people like recently. Like, I will say this: you're my third interview. Like,
Okay.
so like, I remember first one, the person was like, "Don't be nervous," and it's like, especially like why I like hit you up and like why I wanted to talk to you a little bit before we started is because I want to get comfortable with you and I want you to trust me.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm not like fucking Diane Sawyer or Barbara Walters. Like, my goal is not to make somebody cry. Like, but to get to know a person, like, I'm finding out stuff about you. Like, I probably wouldn't have ever had the chance to like talk to you had
Mhm.
I not gone behind this. Like, I mean, if everyone wants to know the secret for my fans, like why I started interviewing people, I was thinking, well, gee, how do I get a chance to talk to hot guys and get them to pay attention to me? I'll start interviewing people.
I love that. Hey, same reason I became an actor.
Yeah. Oh, okay. God. It's hard trying to read in sunglasses, but reason I do sunglasses because I don't know how to do eyes. Um and
Just
every drag queen is shocked about it because once we're off camera, I'll like de-drag for you off camera, like obviously not on when we're doing this, but it's like I have blue eyes, and one of my friends in drag got so pissed the first time that he saw me without sunglasses. He's like, because I have blue eyes, and it's like he's like, why don't you do eyes? I'm like, bitch, I don't want to do eyes.
just practice. That's how
Yeah,
you learn anything. You fuck up, you practice, you fuck up again. Like when I
like
was first, like you just yeah.
yeah. I mean, like it took me this long. I've been doing it since like 2015. It probably was until like 2022 where I started doing like lipstick. So like I'm doing like the slow progression of drag.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's your journey. That makes sense.
yeah,
And like I think every drag queen's journey is like really interesting to me because like people no queen ends up where they are or they're in the way they look the same way. Like when I
yeah,
first started, like I did not personally like I didn't make it for a long time before that and like especially with like modeling and just theater and like just being a boy glam stuff. But like I
yeah,
didn't practice drag makeup. Like people don't understand that like I literally only did make like drag makeup when I went out with my drag family to gigs or did gigs. Like I literally I kind of wish I would have practiced, but like that was the only thing that would
yeah,
get me to like do makeup. And that was the only way I like the fact that literally the majority of LA just watched me get better at makeup over time was interesting for sure. Like I remember the first time I like blocked my brows and they looked awful, and I went to see Aquaria for the first time because my drag mom was like opening for her, and I was like
yeah.
I remember being so ecstatic because I thought I looked so cute. And then I look back at pictures, I'm like, I went out in public like that. I was like a super I would go over to my drag mom's house. And she'd be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to block my brows. She'd be like, have you ever done that before? I'm like, nope. We're just going
No,
to see what happens.
no, never, never again.
I, I really like, to this day, even with makeup, like, I like never practice what I'm doing. I just like,
Yeah,
over time, you get better at what you do. But
yeah, and I will say like that's probably why like if someone ever asks me like how long it takes me to get like ready in drag, and I tell them like a half an hour, and they're like, what? I'm like, well, you gotta think about it, and that's including taking a shower. That's like,
yeah.
so it's like literally all I have to do is like I do like 3 layers of foundation, I do 1 layer of concealer and lipstick, and that's all I have to do.
No blush, no contour.
Oh yeah, I do blush. Yeah, I do
Okay.
blush. Yeah,
You
I don't
love
do
blush.
contour. I don't know how to contour.
Okay. I'm a contour queen for sure. I love contouring because when I do boy makeup, I contour a lot there. I
Yeah.
like to be chiseled. But okay. Do you know how long it takes me?
My guess would be I know how long it takes most drag queens, so I'm gonna say it probably takes you 2 hours. 4?
Yep. I did my dry. I did like for a competition in October. I got into drag in 2 hours, and I was so impressed. I was like, that never has ever happened. I was so impressed. Mhm.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. You're already better than Sugar and Spice. No,
I,
I'm kidding. I love them. I love Sugar and Spice, but
I
I was there for their journey. I know them used to talking about how I used to take them all day.
yeah, but
I'm
like
like
that was me
all
during
day,
the
and there's
pandemic.
two of you.
That was me during the pandemic. I would take like forever because you had too much time. But I actually met Sugar and Spice and got to talk to them on Friday.
I know. I saw that.
It was really cool. I mostly talked to Spice more than I did Sugar. Like
Yeah,
she was really, really sweet. They're exactly how because the funny thing is I've met them as a boy before, like a year ago,
yeah,
and they're very different as a boy versus girls. They're much more chatty as girls. They're much more withdrawn
yeah,
as boys. Which I thought that was interesting.
yeah. Well, I will say this again. Sugar and Spice, as I said, not being shady because I don't want to be shady to them because I hit them up. Like this is the thing. I've hit up a lot of people. A lot of people haven't answered me back, but I've hit up like that's what I told people when like doing this. So like I told them the secret is like I'm like messaging the people is the easy part. Getting people to message back is the hard part.
Hmm. That makes sense. For anyone out there that ever wants to message me, do it. I actually do check my requests, like messages. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't, but like I don't know. I'll look at any message. Honestly.
Well, that's why. Well, actually, I will say this. I wasn't entirely surprised when you responded back to me because, like, I have seen now it's like you're in the lower thousands in terms of followers, which that's a little bit easier for me to access. But
Oh, girl, you wanted the tea about that though?
go
Because I
ahead.
wasn't always. This is a new account because during COVID and everything else, I got my account got hacked
Oh wow.
at 15K. It got hacked, and they literally stole my account, stole everything, and then they sold it to another person, and now that person's selling it to someone else now because they think
Yeah.
that person's bullshit, right? And so yeah, this is like a new account that I haven't even had that long. Just to
Yeah.
say why. Because the reason I say that though is because like you are right about that because like I understand that I'm not where I was and it was really hard for me to go from 15K to zero. That was really hard on me because like
Yeah.
if your like just work and so on. Because I will say like in LA like no one cared who I was till I had 10K. I got 10K in 2018, 17 back when
Yeah.
I was living with my bestie. And like I remember so many opportunities shot up because of that, you know? Like I did that and then like realized that the first time I ever gone to drive was a yeah, Goods like 21st birthday. Like, you know, I would not be there if it wasn't for that, you know?
Yeah.
But which is like interesting to me because like in like how do I put this? Like because I had that at one point, I still have a lot of the connections. So I still in the community get not treated a certain way, but I still get a lot of opportunities based off
Yeah.
like that. But like I really don't care. But I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot because like I care less now about following than I used to. Like I used to be really obsessive. I used to be one of those people
No.
for sure.
And like I feel like you're in a culture that is obsessed with that. So like
Yeah,
as I say, like
but also like even when I had 15K, I
yeah.
respond. I like would look at every DM and so on. Maybe I just
'Cause,
like talk to people.
yeah. Because I mean, like,
I miss my
I,
stalker. I did a stalker once.
oh really? Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's I will admit that's like that's the thing I'm overcoming. I don't want someone to like consider me their stalker, but like it's like if you're getting back to me, it's just like, girl, I'm trying to get you on my podcast. Like, I want to talk to you because that's
That's different. That's like work.
yeah.
This person was trying to get in, you know.
Well, I mean, again, to me, not shocking that you had a stalker because if you were like if you were like busted, I could understand. If someone was like, and someone's like, I had a stalker, I'd be like, you.
I've had
But
two. Thank you very much.
yeah, again, once again, you're a hot guy. You're not
I
busted
I had
looking.
to move across the country.
Wow. I will say this, can't wait for the day that happens to me. Anyway, so going back to drag. Well, no,
Yeah, sure.
you already answered that question. What is your go-to lip sync song?
Oh, I have a few. Definitely, I would say number one is Circus by Britney Spears. I adore performing that song because I
Yeah,
like I use like two whips during it, like real whips, and like I have a whole fit. I like that one is definitely um because like I for the something see I worked with a lot of charities, but I don't remember the names. For Foster the Youth, right?
yeah,
Foster the Youth is that they hired me specifically to do that number. Um
yeah,
for one of those huge like gala events. And like that was like one of those moments where I was like, oh my God, like I think I've been doing it for drag for 2 years and it's like so amazing. And like that one I get requested to do a lot. And like it's easy for me to do because like I already have the look. I've
yeah,
already done it 3 times. So like that's probably like that's a good go-to or Buttons by the Pussycat Dolls. Um
yeah,
I want to wear like a black wig. But yeah, so probably those two off
yeah.
the bat.
I will say this definitely as like someone. Both songs I like. Both songs I performed live. I actually just did a video, like a performance vid doing Circus last Tuesday. Yeah. So like I am definitely like a fan of. That's why when people say like which like pop star do you like a lot? The truth is, I like all of them. Like
Yeah,
I'm the biggest fan of Gaga. Like
yeah. I mean, who isn't?
yeah, I mean I will say this like the first time I've seen Gaga perform live and that was amazing. Like and that was a time where I'm like this is because I will say the first time going back a little bit, the first time I watched the Monster Ball tour, I was like that's when I really fell in love with Gaga. It's like I like some of her music, but it's like when I saw the Monster Ball, I'm like, this is fucking amazing. So didn't get a chance to see her on the Born This Way ball, but when Art Rave came to Fort Lauderdale, I went and I'm like, I went with my best friend. That was the month I will say that's that month that I went to see Gaga. I saw Cher the same month as well, and that was one where
That's
I kind of convinced my dad. I'm like, can you please buy me these tickets? So I was able to get floor seats out of my dad. So that was that was amazing. Yeah,
for you.
yeah. Because I literally it was my birthday present. I told him I'm like, this is probably the last chance I'll get to see Cher, and then she toured once she did the ABBA tribute album. So that bitch is never retiring. I've decided. So, oh, you good? Can you hear me?
No.
Okay, now I can hear you again. You're good now. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, but wait, let me like. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You're good.
Okay. You're just not on my headphone.
Okay. Well, now I can't hear you either.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So you can only hear me with my headphones and I can only hear you. Whatever.
Okay. So
We'll make this work.
all right. So my next question is what's the biggest misconception about you?
That I'm a bitch. 100%. Like my whole life. Um, and it's a lot of it I know is just because of like my physical features. Like I look like a bitch because like my
Yeah.
face is like I have a resting bitch face. I'm pretty, I'm skinny, all these things that people associate with someone who is like bitchy and like Regina Georgie or like anyone who's like quick has a quick wit or things like that, or like like a silver tongue, or like people associate all those sort of qualities with someone who's like a bitch. And I think that's the biggest misconception for sure. Because like most of the people who like actually know me, people who like get to know me, um, like know that like I'm honestly like a super sweet, super understanding, super generous, compassionate person. And like I'm also like really, I guess like I'm really respectable. Like, you know what I mean? Like I have like I realized like pretty early on, like something I care about is like being respected. And like to be respected, I feel like you have to like act a certain way, and you have to kind of have to act that certain way towards everybody. Like I
Yeah.
don't not I'm not a people pleaser, but I have like values and morals and a code of ethics. So like you can all call me a bitch, but like I would like to see like receipts of when I've actually been one.
Yeah. I mean, I will say this. I'm not going to lie. I liked you on the show. I kind of thought that about you. So, like, when you hit me up, I'm like, well, maybe Phoenix isn't as bitchy as I thought. Like,
I play a good bitch. I'm not gonna
yeah.
lie. I I like get casted to play a bitch a lot, honestly. And like on this show, I knew I was gonna look like a bitch because like I didn't get cast in on the show to like be the sweetheart. That was like very
Yeah.
clear. I'm not Tony, you know. He's a Disney princess. That's not me.
Yeah, Tony.
But I'm glad you liked me on the show, though.
Yeah, I did.
Feel
I
people
will
like
say this, like, the episode you got eliminated, like, when you were interrupting everyone's dates, that was so funny to me. Like, every time you did it, I was laughing. Like,
I was so mad when that aired. I was
what?
so mad because they cut out so much of like this stuff I said. Like I wish people could see like there's so much more that I said that I think was so funny. But I mean,
Yeah,
like you can only have so much time on air. But people
yeah,
have liked that a lot, so I'm happy.
yeah. And I will say this, like, granted, you probably were upset once you got put in that position, but like, I don't
Yeah,
think I would have liked to have seen anybody else in that position but you, honestly.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do. It was
Because I
fun.
mean, because I mean, think about this. Like, who are you gonna put? Mateo? Mateo wouldn't have been good in that position. Like, I mean, I like Mateo. Mateo's sweet. Mateo wouldn't have been the good like interrupting person. That's you.
He just would have put cheese on everyone.
Yeah,
I remember when that happened. I like that face that they flashed to, like that was a genuine reaction. I was just so confused what was happening because I remember just thinking the whole time, I'm like, I have to interrupt this. Like, what the
yeah,
hell am I gonna say? Like, what
right.
is even happening?
Yeah, that's totally. Let's see. Okay, so I will say this: have you ever suffered with body issues?
Yeah, of course. Everybody does. And once again, being skinny and actually skinny with like abs that I've had since I was 12, not a single person ever assumes that because they don't think that like that's possible, if that makes sense. But it is because like I'm a normal human being and because like
Yeah,
I'm not 6'5" or a football player and
yeah,
I like yeah, I'm skinny, but I also grew up in the 2000s with a thinspo blog on Tumblr, you know?
yeah,
Like we all like struggle for sure and like the thing too is like because I've always had a good body and I'm very blessed for that but because of that my insecurity has always been like well what happens if I lose it like
yeah,
what like this obsession with like not losing this frame like there's like that obsession of like my identity being tied to it to a degree
yeah,
and like also like well like yeah I can get a guy now but like would I still be able to get a guy if I didn't have this is like that's what they really care about things like that come into your head a lot and like it gives you body dysmorphia for sure.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've had the same thing because like the thing is, I have like a bigger body. Obviously, like I'm a big bitch and I know it. And like the thing is, I think about like the notion of people like obviously I try and lose weight. I will say like when I have problems with my foot, I dropped 40 pounds just because like people are like, it's like how you did it. I'm like I could barely walk. I couldn't get out of bed except to like I would literally like go to work 8 hours a day, come home, ice my feet, and be like in my room for the rest of the day. And it's like you ask yourself the question of, do you need the fucking potato chips? No, you're gonna stay your ass in bed. Like,
Yeah,
and being bigger, like the thing is for me is I tell people like even I tell guys I hit up and it's like yes I'm trying to lose weight. I'm like don't worry this ass ain't going nowhere. Like I got a fat ass. I've always had one. It's not going away. Like
I do not have a fat ass and I wish I did.
no, it's a lot of work. Like well, speaking of that, I think I already know the question, but I think I already know the answer. But I'm going to ask anyway. Have you had any work done to yourself, like plastic
No.
surgery? Because I will say this, like first of all, you don't need it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, like, I know you're probably like tempted being in LA to like get it. Like, honestly, like, as I said, you don't need it. If I were to like recommend what I would do for you, I would just say like make your hips and ass bigger. Other than that, don't touch anything else. Like, honestly, like,
That's so funny because literally, okay, I've never had work done. I'm glad I didn't move to LA when I was 18, you know?
yeah,
I want done is my ass.
yeah,
And I saw it on the last episode when they zoomed in on it, when it was in those like little like spandex, like orange like shorts, and I was like, God damn it.
yeah,
I literally, it was just funny. I literally got a consultation for it like 2 years ago.
yeah.
But yeah, that's like the only thing. But like that's just because like it's hard for like someone in my frame to like get a bigger ass, you know? But like I honestly don't feel pressure to get my face done or do a lot of other things. I support the industry. I have friends who work in the industry. I have friends that, you know, my ex got a lot of things done.
Yeah.
So,
well, I will say this. Good thing you don't feel that pressure, because once you do, you're eventually at some point, you might end up like Madonna. Like, that's...
Girl, growing up, I always wanted a nose job because I was really insecure about my nose being like a part black, and like my nose looked bigger when I was younger because my face was smaller.
Yeah.
And it used to be a huge insecurity of mine, like really, really big. And I mean, like since like I was 7th grade, I wanted a nose job.
Yeah.
And one of my idols is Michael Jackson. So literally like such a big thing was I'd be like, I want a nose job, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to look like Michael Jackson.
No, because this is the thing. You, at some point, I actually did just watch a video of a doctor like basically breaking down what he thought Michael Jackson had done to his nose. He had like 10 nose jobs, like,
yeah,
and at some point, like, they said like they had to like move skin from like other part of his body to like put on his nose, and it's like I don't get it. Like, I mean, granted, I'm not gonna do it now, like, but I've thought about like that's the one thing that like scares me about aging. It's like once I start seeing wrinkles, I'm gonna be like fucking.
Today I was just talking to one of my best friend who works at a med spa in Manhattan. He's one of my best friends of all time. He's also my drag sister, and he just got his lips redone and so on. He's had quite a few things done. He looks gorgeous, but I was talking to his coworker, and like his and mine theories are so different. His theory is like get everything done now to prevent. Like get a nose job done now because your nose keeps growing. Like get all these things done now so like you look great later. And my whole attitude towards everything is like I'm just gonna ride out being pretty. Like, I'm just gonna ride out all of this until it like doesn't work anymore, and then go get something done. You know?
This is the thing. Like, totally. First of all, what I learned about from watching again from the same doctor on YouTube video about Madonna, she had her first facelift at 37 and they only last 10 years. I'm like, if you start too early, you're going to have to keep on doing more and more work, and your face is just going to go more puffed and puffed out.
Oh my God, she looks so bad now.
Yeah, I know. It's like
sad.
Well, actually, first of all, thank God for you saying that, because I was so afraid with me mentioning that you're in LA and you're going to be like, what are you talking about? That's completely normal for somebody to look like that. Because LA is full of people with plastic surgery. So like,
well, the thing is, you can have plastic surgery and still look good. My friend in New York, he looks fucking stunning. No. Everyone look him up. Sean Walsh. He's I am Sean Walsh on Instagram. He is stunning because he knows he got it done well. My roommate who I live with, silicone ass mama. He looks great, and so when he's older, he looks great all over. But there's so many people that do it wrong, and it's so hard to do anything about, because once you do it wrong, like.
Well, okay, to be clear, I just want to say this. I'm not saying that you can't get plastic surgery. I will say,
no. I understand what you mean.
I will say, like, for example, like, Cher had plastic surgery. Cher looks amazing.
That's the thing, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to look like Madonna though.
No.
I will say though, what we didn't do on the show was they made us beforehand write 2 truths and a lie
Yeah.
about ourselves. And my lie was I had work done. But we never ended up doing the 2 truths. Or maybe they did, just not when I was on TV. But I didn't hear them do it. So
because I'm even trying to like look. I can't. Well, I mean, granted, I'm wearing sunglasses, but I can't see anywhere where it looks like you've had work done. So like, and plus, it's like, and plus, first of all, you said you're half black. That's gonna help you later on.
yeah, my mom is what 67, no wrinkles.
Yeah,
I'm good.
and like that's the thing. Like, I will say this. Like,
the jaw is because my dad's like part German, things like that. You know.
And I'll say this, like, I'm not worried about it. Like, you and I are like roughly the same age. I'm like a year older than you. So like,
yeah,
I don't have to worry about that now because like literally I am like fortunate enough to where like once I got like 18, 19, 20, my face hasn't aged much since then. And it's like I joke with my best friend who's like a year older than me. Like he looks older, so I constantly tell him I'm like, and he was telling me about how one of his friends was calling him old. I'm like that friend's not allowed to call you old. Only I'm allowed to call you old.
Period.
Yeah. So, oh, okay. Speaking of, since I know you do drag and you have drag friends, I'm going to ask you about the one that I know of. How did you meet Manila Luzon?
Oh, I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, she had so much to say about this show. By the way, she loved it, and I was like, really like that meant a lot coming from her.
Yeah.
Plus, she thought I was entertaining, which also meant a lot from coming from her.
Yeah.
Because I did love her in All Stars. She was also kind of bitchy. I met her through one of my best friends, Nolan. You look him up too, people. He's on my Instagram. But they were good friends because he's good friends with Manila and her husband. And we've seen each other out and about kind of stuff. And then we finally met and talked. And then most recently we watched both episodes together at a dinner party at Nolan's place, actually. So yeah, I've like gotten to know a lot of drag queens since living here. I saw Sasha Colby last night. She's probably was one of the nicest queens I ever met when I moved here because she's really good friends with one of my old roommates. I not to plug, but to plug later this year I will be in a show with a particular drag queen who is my favorite drag queen, Willem Belli.
I love Willem.
Yeah, that will be good. She's my favorite drag queen of all time, and I've known her for a while now. We're not like super close or anything like that, but like we definitely like talk, and then we work together on this one project, which is really exciting. And I'm really close to her best friend Rhea Latre.
I love Rhea too. Like
that's where I was last night, seeing her show.
I know Rhea because of Willem.
Yeah.
Again, like I know all these people. I'm a fan of all these people. I've hit both Willem and Rhea up. No response. They'll probably answer me once I get more well known for this. But but it's like I will say this, like just like I have one last question and then like I'm just gonna go off a little bit first before I say that. I don't like begrudge people like bigger than you like not answering me because it's like they probably get thousands of messages a day.
Yeah.
It's like you're not gonna be able to like answer everybody, but like I'm trying to get who I can. Like this Sunday, I got to confirm with him tomorrow. I'm hopefully having Rico from Go for the Gold.
I was with him last night.
Awesome.
Rico just had a birthday. He's an Aquarius. Rico is literally so fucking sweet, so hot, and like so talented. Like,
yeah,
he's great.
Yeah,
That'll be fun.
I will say this. Like, as I said, fingers crossed. I never know. Like, I usually do. With you, it's a little bit different because I had to do the Tuesday. What I usually do is like, I ask the people, and then like the Wednesday before I try and confirm. So like, that way I know if I have anything to do Sunday or not. Like,
yeah. The reason I wanted Tuesday so bad was because because I'm on the Pacific, like the West Coast, and you're on the East Coast. The time frame would have been like 5:30 to 7:30 in the morning, and which is like a Saturday night. I stay out till like 5.
Yeah,
and I wake up at 7 to go to work.
Yeah,
like 30 minutes away, like at 9. So I was like, oh my god, I wouldn't sleep at all. I'd be like so.
Yeah, and I will say this, like, I wasn't. It's like I knew this was the thing. Like, why I couldn't get back to you immediately, like for Tuesday, was because I was going in for a job interview the next day. I was hoping I was going to land the job. Turns out not. So it's like now I knew, and the one thing about Tuesday is like, and reason why I do stuff usually on Tuesday and Sunday is because like I know my dad's going to be out for hours, and like that's why like even my last interview with Sage Schwade that I did on Saturday, he was like talking, and like I saw my dad pulling in the garage, and I'm like, I have to cut you off. I'm sorry, like,
yeah,
because like I'm not in my bedroom, like I'm in like literally the between the living room and the kitchen, because I know that this is like the best light, and I'm
makes sense.
All about light. So my last question for you, and I am asking you this because you're in LA. Do you have any real friends? I'm not saying this to be shady, but like
the shade. Oh my god, I can't. This is so funny.
What I'm saying this for is because, well, you're in LA. You know that people can be fake out in LA.
Yeah, but okay. The answer is yes. I have real friends. I value friendship a lot. These are my point. I'm not a bitch. I really value friendship. This is why I got in a fight with Tokyo, because like I really do value friendships. That same ex, mind you, like that best friend, I was with him last night. You know.
Yeah.
I'm a very sociable person, so I have a big network of friends. But I'm lucky enough to have a lot of really close friends that I've known for years. I have it's so embarrassing. Like even during this podcast, I've had 2 friends call me.
Yeah.
They're like one is in Seattle and one is in New York. And like the one in New York, I've known since I was 12. The one in Seattle, I've known since I was 14. Like the one who is like works at the med spa, I've known for like 6 years. Like I take a lot of pride and value in my friendships. So like I'm lucky enough to have a lot of like long-term friends. And I think the problem in LA is it's hard to get long-term friends. A lot of people end up with short-term friends or superficial friends. And it's hard to get close to people because people are busy or people feel superficial.
Yeah. I mean, I would totally get that. Like, and the reason
it's a busy city.
It's like, I would say that, granted, like, I'm someone who's just getting to know you, but like, I find you very likable.
Thank you.
And like, that's why, like, I'll keep in touch with you. Like, I don't.
That's the thing. The funny thing is, like, after the show, like, everyone's friends. Like, I didn't end up like on bad terms with anyone. And like, I feel like reality TV, like, I don't know how other shows are, but it was interesting to me that like on a show like that like the cast really stayed friends.
Yeah. Because I will say this, like, I am someone who doesn't have a lot of friends. Like, I probably had like 2 friends that I was close with, and one of them passed away last year. So it's like my best friend is like the person I like talk to all the time. Like, we probably talk. I will admit, I wish I was better at like talking to people. Like, I'm the worst at that. Like, if like sometimes even people ask me about my sister, and I'm like, granted, we're on social media and everything. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, if I'm lucky if I talk to my sister once a year, but it's like, it's because like I get so involved in my life that like sometimes you forget to reach out to people because like
No, that makes sense. I have two brothers. I'm a middle child, which is why I like attention.
yeah,
And
obviously,
I've had to do like be more take more time to like make sure to keep in contact with them. It's like it takes effort. Like especially with my
yeah,
little brother too. Because my older brother is gay, so it's still easier. But he lives in
yeah,
Berlin, which is hard. But like my little brother is straight, so like we don't have as much in common. So I've like
exactly,
and like when we were younger, we didn't like hang out. You know, he's like 4 years younger than me. But
yeah,
like as adults, I've had to like put more effort into like trying to talk to him. And the thing is, like, I really hardly talk to him unless I go home for the holidays.
yeah. I mean, because this is the thing, like, especially now, like, granted, as I told you before, I'm like unemployed, but that doesn't mean I'm not busy because it's like whenever I'm not looking for jobs, I'm trying to do research for this, like,
Yeah.
or trying to message people and like just like have backup plans. Because actually, going back to Mateo is actually my backup plan because I had done all the research for a guest. I hit up the person Wednesday, as I said. They asked me for money. I'm like, I'm not paying you. Like, and it's like, to me, that a little bit annoyed me because it's like, why did you waste my time? Because like, it doesn't like come all at once. Like, I mean, granted, for you it was a little easy for me to write, but it still took me like 2-3 days to write these questions.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not opposed to like doing something with like people and like maybe at some point in the future I can pay people. I don't know, but it's like I got to get a network behind me to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not on Mom Podcast. I'm not on like I'm not on iHeartRadio or anything like that. Like, as I said, I do everything myself.
You're
And
doing the grind and you're are working your way up. Like that's a full-time job doing all that. And
yeah,
like and I completely get that. And you know, you're not where you want to be at, you're not where you're going to be at. But like
yeah.
like that's the thing. Everyone has a path. No one starts with 1 billion followers or like a whole network or a whole budget, you know?
Unless they come from money. That's that's the one thing. I'm like, why couldn't I have been born rich? Like,
Well, money doesn't mean you can buy talent. You know, there's a lot of
that is that is
you can
so
buy a
true.
network, but
That's why, like,
you can get a show, but that doesn't mean people are going to watch.
that is such a good point. Because it's like,
That's what makes TikTok so interesting because it allows anyone to really have a platform. And the people who succeed are people who are often the people who find people who are like just entertaining, you know? They
yeah,
don't need to have like all the gadgets.
and it's like, even with me, it's like, if I put more effort into TikTok, I could probably be bigger on TikTok. But it's like, I just, I can't. Like, literally, what I use TikTok for is you have 8,000 people who are lip syncing to songs. I did that. Those are some of my biggest videos on TikTok. But it's like, I'd rather post like clips of performances, clips of interviews like this. Like, I'll, at some point, I don't know how like it'll work out, but probably within the next few days, I'll like take 2 clips from this interview and like put it on TikTok and then like post that to Instagram.
Tag
Like,
me.
yeah,
Phoenix Lady Rising.
yeah.
I have cute TikToks.
You
I need to
follow
work on
me.
the TikTok too. TikTok's a
Yeah,
lot of work.
yeah, you follow me, girl. Like you're gonna get.
Oh, I know. That was less for you and more for
Oh,
the
that's
viewer.
for them. Okay.
Yeah. Plug in.
Yeah, I mean, hey, as I say, plug everything. Like the thing with social media, what I tell people, like when they talk about social media and like me being on it, it's like if I was not an entertainer, I would have no excuse to be on social media except to like maybe follow hot guys, but then like that also comes into like there's some guys who are just interested in me in drag. So it's like that's why they hit me up.
That's oh my God, girl. Every time, without fail, everyone knows like every time I'm in drag, I get like hit on. And it's so interesting to me the fact that like the types of people like that legitimately just want me in drag. Like
Yeah.
that's their fantasy of me, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, because I mean, I will say this. I'm assuming that like you probably they're probably also like fooled by the fantasy because you probably wear like hip pads and all that stuff like that, right?
I like my human hair, good makeup, hip hats, like the full
Yeah.
illusion, hot girl. And I've had that happen though. I had a limo driver. Okay, so this is like random story. So I
Yeah.
on an event. This was like 2 weeks after the show actually, and like funny enough, I booked Tokyo, and I
Yeah.
booked Demilo, who's on the show later, and like for the VIP people, like I organized like a limo ride, and like it was cute, picked everyone up, that whole thing, and I was in drag, and the guy kept eyeing me, like the driver, right? And then
Yeah.
like on the way back, like it was like because other people went off to like party or like have their own ride. So it was like in the limo, it literally was just me. It was just me going back to my apartment. Like he was
Yeah.
just driving just me, nobody else. And then he started flirting with me. And he legitimately thought I was a trans woman, which I thought was really interesting. And I had to explain like because people don't think I'm ever a girl in drag, but I get trans girl a lot because like I like seem more passable, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
like I'm not the person who like goes along with the ride with that. I just don't think that's okay personally. But
Yeah.
like I had to explain to him that like everything he liked about me was fake. He was like, I like your eyes. I'm like, contacts. He's like, I like your hair. I'm like, a wig. He's like, I like your hips. He's like, I like your ass. I'm like, pads. Like, it was just like
Yeah.
everything. I'm like, girl, I'm a boy.
See, that's gotta suck for somebody like you. Because I will say this, like, when I like, granted, I don't pad. Well, as I said, I have a fat ass. Like, I don't need to pad in drag. That's why, like, somebody suggested to me one time, they're like, you should do hip pads and stuff. I'm like, so what? I'm gonna make my ass big. I'm gonna make my already big ass bigger than it is. Like, none of my fucking drag will fit if I do that. Like,
Yeah. But
like,
that's the beauty of drag is like being able to like manipulate and change the way you look into whatever you want it to be, you know?
yeah,
And like I remember like when I first started I didn't wear pads. And I remember the first time I put on pads and I felt like a woman. I loved
yeah,
it so much. And like now my pads are pretty big, but
yeah. I mean, if you need to pad, do it.
yeah.
Like, I
You
am
just gotta know
someone.
your body type and know how to manipulate it. That's what drag is and so on. The same way you like know your face and know what to do with it, you know?
Yeah,
Like I love my face and I love my face as a boy and I love my face as a girl, but like this jaw is great as a dude, but as a girl, I like have to make sure it doesn't look as prominent.
see, and like, speaking of your nose, that has to be something that you have to like contour your nose down and all that.
Yeah.
See, that's
But I've
one way
gotten really
that
good at it over the years. That's the thing. Like I think that's probably why I stopped wanting to have a nose job is because I
yeah,
got good at makeup and I was like, oh my God, I can just make my nose look the way I like wanted to look with makeup when I go
yeah.
out. Like both as a boy or in drag. And like once I realized that, I was like, cool. My nose fine.
I will say that's one area where I'm blessed. Like, if I had to contour somebody's nose, I'd have no idea how to do it because I don't have to because my nose is small. Like,
Yeah.
so that's why I had somebody who I worked with who was allegedly straight he could never make up his mind. He would talk about all these girls and then he'd be attracted to me at the same time. I'm like, bitch, it's like, make up your fucking mind. It's like, are you bi? Are you gay? Like, but anyway, he's like, I'd love to do a number with you. And I'm like, I literally told him, I'm like, I would not know how to put you in drag. Cause like his nose was huge. And I'm like, I don't know how to make that smaller. Like, I don't have to know how to make this smaller. Like, if I were to contour my nose, I'd look like Michael Jackson. Like, that's...
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's about knowing your face. And it's hard doing other people's faces for sure. And like, in drag, I don't glue down my full brow. I only glue down half of it because I literally have a 3-finger forehead. My forehead's actually really small. So if I was to like put my eyebrows up,
yeah,
they would look crazy.
Right.
So like, you know, everyone's face is different.
As I will say,
like, or like my lips. Like I have big lips. I like barely will overdraw them at all. Versus the girls who are like, you know.
Yeah, I did overdraw a little bit, and actually, I'm
looks good.
Oh, thank you, because I was like doing my lips, and then like I fucked up. I'm like, fuck. It's like if I do this wrong, Phoenix is gonna clock me, and like.
What I will tell you, what I learned, because I didn't know how to overdraw my lips for like the longest time, because I just never did. And then my drag sister, the same one who just got her lips done, the one in Sean Walsh, the one in New York, Porcelain Diamond. She taught me like what you do. Is there a pen around here? I'm like looking. Anyways, ooh, there's a key. I'll show you with a key really quick. So what you do, you see your lips, and when you take the lip liner and you make a mark here, 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 slay out, and then you just connect the dots.
See, lip liner would be something I'd have to buy because I don't have lip liner. Like,
girl, go to Target, go to NYX, get NYX. It's cheap, it's good. Because
I will say this, like, NYX, I'll think about that because, like, other than my lips, everything else I do is Elf. Like,
Elf is good.
Yeah, and my sister told me about that when she saw me because, like, this is why I honestly went back like into my old photos on Instagram and like I deleted them because like I got accused of doing whiteface because like I was doing makeup that was way too light for my face.
Happens.
And it's like, and she's like, "Don't you watch people?" I'm like, here's the thing, like I try and watch beauty tutorials, but it's like at some point, depending on who the person is, it's like I try and keep up with you, like paying attention, and then you just bore me.
Then do TikTok. Like the beauty tutorials are so much shorter.
Yeah, I will. Okay, I'll definitely think about that.
Like, you mean if that's what it is, because like the ones on YouTube can be real long. I get that.
Yeah, because like
my tiny holes of ear makes these keep falling out.
Because again, it's like I'd love to have like the patience to watch 30 minutes. I'd love to, but it's like the only thing I last like long form for is watching interviews. Like I can watch an hour interview and be like full depth in because you're learning about somebody, but it's like trying to watch something where it's like a beauty tutorial that's like an hour long. I'm like,
yeah.
But I will say this, it's why like I will say going back to long form interviews, I actually like this, and I like that we've gone this long because I will say this is the longest I've gone on an interview. And like I like that, and like you probably don't even know how long we've been talking. Like that's the thing.
An hour and 39 minutes and 25 seconds.
Oh, so you can see that too. I didn't know if like
No, I have a really good like sense of time. I don't, but
yeah. because that's why when you told me like how long, it's like I plan on an hour because like
Yeah.
with my first person that I did an interview with, I told him originally half an hour because like when I'm by myself, if you're doing more than half an hour, you're like getting close to being on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Like I cannot see how somebody could do like 4 hours just playing video games sitting by themselves. I'm like, and that's what people do on Twitch. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. How on earth?
Oh my god. Sorry, I just
Yeah, go ahead.
okay. My roots are showing, but I'm still fucking blonde because I just remembered we were on Twitch. Because okay, the first digital drag show I was a part of was on Twitch, and
Yeah,
Twitch is such an interesting platform. It's such an interesting platform.
yeah. I will say like, well, now I'm noticing it because you pointed it out, but I wasn't noticing before. Like, but I mean, that's honestly, I will say like, I'd like this. Who knows? Like, even talking to you like for an hour and 40 minutes, like, I'm not opposed to having you back on again. Like, once
I have a lot of thoughts about a lot of things. That's probably why people honestly think I'm a bitch because I'm a very opinionated person. I will
Girl,
talk about them.
let me put it this way. And this is the thing that like shocks people. You want to know what this is my podcast? You want to know what the title of my like political Twitch show is? It's called The Opinionated Bitch. That's literally the name of my show.
I love
And
that.
it's like I usually do it on Tuesday. I didn't plan a topic because obviously I knew I was going to be talking to you. But it's like last week I did one on immigration, and it's like I'm a little bit like calmer on this podcast where like as in on my Twitch show, I sit here, I get my facts, I say whatever facts I need to, and then I go off about a topic because and a lot of times it's me attacking Republicans. Like that's attacking Republicans and attacking establishment Democrats because I will say like I can't stand watching corporate news. I don't know where if like if you're a news person or not. Like
No.
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 That believe me, I will say this, like if I wasn't like watching a news network where I thought I was getting the news honestly, I wouldn't be either. Like but it's like just to see, I will admit there was a time where like I did like block out news during the Trump administration because like I just knew that like shit was bad. And it's like I'd rather be ignorant about this shit, knowing that it's bad, than like have to sit there and constantly like see Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. That's why like I was watching like CNN. I was like unfortunately in the same room where CNN was on, and I like saw it, and it was like a year into Joe Biden's presidency, and they were still blaming Donald Trump. I'm like, girl, get a new talking point. Like,
It's all so fucked.
but I will say I have to watch it because, like, as I say, as one of those people who didn't go to college, it's like maybe like watching the news will like keep me from like getting
It's
Alzheimer's,
important
dementia,
to
brain.
be aware of what's going on in the world around you.
Yeah,
It is.
because I know stuff like when I see stuff coming out of Florida, I'm like, well, not a surprise. That's why when I saw like one of the gay people I follow on YouTube, he was doing a video like he's like, I moved to Florida. I'm thinking, why? Like you moved here from LA? Like you're getting into this? I'm trying to get out of this. Like, because I know it's fucked here. Like
It's cheaper. That's why he probably moved. California is so expensive.
yeah, but like I agree with that. Like I will say like in terms of like places to live other than Florida, like obviously that's probably why I want to move to Atlanta because it's like
I've never been to Atlanta, but I've only heard great things.
it's so pretty. Like that's probably the one reason why I want to go to Atlanta because it's like Florida has no seasons. Like,
Yeah.
I was like so grateful. I woke up. I wake up crazy early. Like, I woke up at like 4 o'clock this morning and like went out power
You know what
walking. And
time I
then,
went
like,
to sleep? I went to
you
sleep at
probably
5
went to
a.m.
sleep at 4 o'clock, right?
I went to sleep at 5 a.m. I got home at like 3. Like, I
But
was just on TikTok scrolling.
I mean, but that's the thing, and it's like, I get that. Like,
I'm a night owl for sure.
and the thing was, I used to go out when I lived in Orlando too, and used to be
Yeah.
out at night. But it's like, now that I'm in a small town, it's like, I'd rather like get up at 4 a.m. like
Get
go
your
out.
day going.
Yeah, it's also that, and it's partially because like my dad has a psycho dog that's like ever like she's being calm now because he's not here, but like she's attacked me like multiple times, like just
Oh, I could never. I lived my old place. The landlords had 2 pit bulls and they attacked me twice, and it was so traumatic.
yeah, and it's like
But the place was so cute.
yeah, she is a cute dog, like, and it's like especially now. Oh,
Phoenix rejoined.
wait, okay, you're back.
Yeah.
You
Wait,
just
can you give me 1
disappeared.
second?
Yeah.
I have to grab something.
Oh shit.
Hi.
Okay. Hey.
Okay.
So anyway, that's fine. I know we've been on for a while. Like,
No worries. I had to go pee.
well, no, that was the thing. Like, as you see, like I've seen you drinking all the time. I try not to drink on the podcast. Like
I am
cup
literally
back.
obsessed with water. Like, people don't even understand that. Like, people like, oh my God. I am obsessed with alkaline water, different types of water, sparkling water. It's
See,
bad. I
my
chug
thing,
water in the middle of the night. Like, I drink water all the time, which is good for your skin.
I should drink more water. What I do is green tea because like I'm just obsessed with diet green tea because it's like for me it's like everything I do involves my voice and I want to lose it. Like
That makes sense. Tea is great. Green tea is great.
yeah.
I'm a liquids person. Like, I'm from Seattle, so I love coffee. I love tea. I
Yeah.
love water. But
See,
not really a soda girl, but
well,
my
I do
fridge is
like
90% just drinks.
I do one a day. I do like one like Coke, Pepsi, Zero, whatever in the morning
I
because
drink a lot of energy drinks. I
I
will
need
say
some
that.
form of caffeine. Like especially because like getting up so early, like as I said, like I've been up since as I said 4 a.m. and like I literally am going over to my friends with benefits house at 10:30. So it's like I'm having to go like way past usually when I go to bed. So it's like
Yeah. Actually, funny enough, on the show, fun little story. When I got there, the in the fridge they had Red Bulls and I threw like a little fit because they didn't have the type I like.
You're probably sugar-free Red Bull, right?
No, they had. I like the colored ones, the like different fruity flavored. And
Oh,
at the time when we shot it, it was during the summer. It was like actually like late August, and
yeah.
they had a summer edition Red Bull that was strawberry apricot, and I was like obsessed with it. And I literally had to like DoorDash it to set because I wanted it so bad. All they had was like regular Red Bull or something, and
Yeah.
like literally everyone who was like all the cast members, they all know like you can ask Prince like I was obsessed with those Red Bulls. Like that's like I needed them all at all times. I remember someone drank one of them, and I was trying so hard not to lose it because
Yeah.
I was in my head. I'm like, who the fuck drank it?
Yeah. I mean, like, well, wait. Actually, that's another thing you just said that I was shocked about. They let you keep your phone.
I don't know if I was allowed to say that.
Well,
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I don't know if I was allowed to say that. I don't want to. Daddy TV, don't sue me. But yes, I was allowed to have my phone. There was a
okay.
like I wasn't allowed to have it during scenes and things like that. But we did have them. We like what we could do on them was like slightly limited. Like like we weren't allowed to like stay where we were or like take
Yeah.
pictures or like post stuff.
Well, that stuff makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I was just saying that because, again, your favorite drag queen famously got eliminated from RuPaul's Drag Race because she broke the rules.
Yeah.
And like,
Exactly. But yeah, that was not me breaking the rules.
yeah,
But yeah, it was like nice because I could keep up with people, and some
yeah,
people didn't know where I was, so it
yeah.
was easy to just keep the a ruse, I guess.
And here's the thing, like this thing about you saying something you just said. Believe me, on this podcast, if my sister ever like watches the last two episodes, she's gonna be so mad at me because I said just like I was talking with artists and talking with her about how she misunderstood what I did, and I said my truth. Like, it's like I don't know if she didn't want me to reveal it or not, but it's like, fuck it, I'm already behind the microphone. You can't stop me. I already did it.
The thing too is like I think it's empowering and so on. And like there's so many people out there right now who are like making a difference in that community. And I've seen that for sure. And I've met a lot of people who are doing a lot. So it's like, I don't know, be proud. I mean, I can't say anything really, but like be proud of the community you're in,
Yeah,
It makes you a beautiful individual.
right. That I have no shame in anything. The only things I have shame about are like when I see like watching old like videos of me doing music stuff before I was in drag. Because I was like, as they call it, like desperately seeking attention. So I was doing stuff that I knew was shocking. Like,
For shock value.
yeah, because I wanted people to pay attention to me. That was one of the things my sister said. She's like, "Oh, you're just doing drag for the attention." I'm thinking like it's not just for the attention, but it's like, duh, all music like newsflash, you probably know this. I'm telling this to the viewers out there. All entertainers want people to pay attention to them. Some of us are just better at getting people's attention.
And that's why I'm here. I'm pretty good at getting attention.
Yeah. And it's like the thing is, in order to get your message out, sometimes you have to get people's attention.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't able to, like, if I didn't dress up in drag, I wouldn't be able to, like, get people to understand about how angry I was as a person. Because I will say, this is why I'm glad I'm not songwriting now, because I only write in, like, 3 modes. One of them's sadness, one of them's anger, and one of them's, like, slutty, hoary-ish. Like, those are the 3 modes that I can write in. Like, when I hear people like write happy songs, I'm like, how the fuck do you do that? Like, I can't. But I will say, like, what? Like, okay, maybe that's another question I can ask you. Probably last one. I know I said that like an hour ago, but
No worries. I
um,
like questions. More water.
So once you get people's attention, what do you want them to learn about you?
About me?
Yeah, because like you said, you're good at getting people's attention. Like, what do you
I
want them
am.
to take? What do you want them to take from you once you get that attention?
I think I want people to understand that people can be more multifaceted. I think I want people to um I want to help people, you know what I mean? In like the way
Yeah,
like the most rewarding thing that has happened to me like this year was the fact that like I am like not this like a week ago like on Monday, I was at one of Rhea's shows and this guy came up to me and he was just like, "Hey, like um I don't know if you remember this, but 10 years ago, we did a little project called Legally Blonde together." And it was like my last show senior year of high school. And of course, I remembered him. Like he was a freshman, he was gay, he was 13, he'd just come out.
yeah,
And he wasn't sure if I was going to remember him since it's been like 10 years. And he expressed how he had followed my career and everything else like that. And he expressed to me the fact that he's never forgotten like the stuff I told him and like our interactions in that show and how much it meant to him. He's now touring with the West End and he talked about how literally like he still sometimes thinks like what would Phoenix do and like that that I don't understand like how big of a difference I really made in his life. He talked about the speech I gave him. You'll love this. Like
yeah,
I gave him a speech. I'll never forget that. I give a good you become a bitch speech because I gave him a speech because I was like, I'm leaving. I was like, you do not have my same tenacity. I was like, you're gonna get eaten alive by these straight guys. I'm like, you need to get a fucking backbone. Like the only reason why I survived is like I became a fucking bitch in high school. So I left and he told me he's like, I got a backbone because of that. Like I really like stepped up to the plate and like made a lot of changes in the school and like continued on like your legacy and what you were doing and like hearing that was amazing, you know, like touching
yeah,
someone's life, like actually touching someone's life. And the thing is like I got that because I wanted fucking attention. I got a lot of attention, you know, and like I think like more people who want to do good and who want to help and be there for people should be the ones getting attention. Should be the ones utilizing their art to like make someone happy. The reason I love Willem so much is like, yeah, Willem was the first drag queen I ever related to because I was a rebel in high school. And also like when I was like depressed about stuff, she made me laugh, you know?
yeah,
Like comedy is healing and like these entertainers that like are good at getting attention, like often they're also good at helping people through things. And
yeah.
it's easy for us to relate to them, you know?
I mean, I get that. Like, I will say this: I recently it was just like that thing about you like getting a chance to like mentor somebody. I had one of my followers like reach out to me who's also a performer and is like asking me stuff about what it's like to be out there. And
Mhm.
I'm trying to impart to him the best I can. It's like I didn't know what I was doing. And the thing is like the thing that I learned was that it's not necessarily about having the best voice because I will say this from going to open mics, you hear a lot of horrible singers. Like and it's like even in my mind it's like as much as I like try and replicate Christina Aguilera, I know I'm not Christina Aguilera, but it's like I know I'm better than you. And the thing about wearing sunglasses is it's great because like sometimes my eyes will roll and it's like if nobody can see my eyes they can't see how rude I'm being.
Very true.
And just like telling him he asked me to like interview on the podcast and I'm like this is the answer I have to tell people. It's like I'll fit you in when I have time. Like and I will say like in some ways I feel like so removed from being a performer because it's been so long since I've done it that like I still love singing. I sing like every day, but it's like I created a new lane for myself because I wanted to do something that, especially this part, even my best friends is like, it's like, well, apparently you found another talent that you have, because it's like, I didn't think about it, but it's like, that makes sense. I've watched interviews like most of my adult life, imagining I was the person being interviewed, because I used to do like, as crazy as it sounds, I would do like mock interviews when like nobody was home and just like talking to myself, which I know sounds a little crazy. And
No, it doesn't. Makes sense.
but it's like, I wanted to, and like, probably what I wanted to do with you, I don't know. I wanted to ask you some questions that, like, obviously you probably have been asked before, but I also probably wanted to ask you some questions that people have never asked you before. I don't know if I've done that, but that's what I tried to do.
I think you did a good job.
Thank you. And yeah, I've gone through all my questions. It's 7 o'clock. So, shit. I will say, unfortunately, I've loved talking to you. I'm going to end the podcast, probably just like close it, like de-drag for you, and then like just maybe talk for a little bit after.
Okay.
And with that being said, this is Gay Out the City. I'm your host, Prince Electro Diamond. I hope you've enjoyed.